And they basically would end up with having sex. And they made a lot of light-skinned black people with actually green and hazel eyes. Some of them even have blue eyes. But this is coming from back in New Orleans and back in the day. You guys are all educated people, so you know this is some real shit I'm talking. I'm making this shit up. So my mother was so light-skinned in the 50s, they called her, and he was one of the cooler kids in the school. And I had another friend named Kenneth, who was a black kid, a darker-skinned black kid. And this is my very first experience with race. I was on my way to go play with Todd, and on the way to his house, he told Kenneth, I can't have any more friends. So I'm like, you can't come, you know what I'm saying? I'm a kid, like, that's cool, I get to go, you don't. But then on the way to Todd's house, some more white kids popped up, and he invited them to the house. And I thought that was a little strange. So later on, I asked him, I said, why did you tell Kenneth he couldn't come? He said, oh, he's a darkie. I was like, word? So I'm like, I'm not even old enough to figure this out. Like, a darkie, like, we all play together every day at school, and you got a problem with him being a darkie, right? So, of course, I continued on. I played at his house. I wasn't even old enough to realize how cold that was, but I got home and I asked my mother, and I told her the story, and she looked at me and she said, baby, people are stupid. That's what she said. She didn't go into it, she didn't tell me more. But as I started to live, I started to see it happen more and more. I had another friend named Mark Richards. We could play at his house, but when it got dark, all the black kids were sent home, and the white kids were invited into the house. So now I'm picking it out. So I'm like, okay, there's a lot of stupid people running around, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know why they're stupid, I'm just still trying to figure it out. When you're in elementary school, you don't know unless your parents sit you down and start to teach you this. But I started to figure this out. Now, as an adult, going all around the world, I've been, many countries, many places, I realized that it's not something you're born with. It's something that's taught. And hatred and team mentality, I call it team mentality, is taught continuously. Like, your school is better than the other school. I'm sure you think that. And that's how we start to gang up and we start to separate. But being able to look at a skin color or a hair texture is a quick way to identify somebody not being like you. That's the first thing, because it's visual, before you hear them talk. So when you look at somebody, it's a quick way. It's like wearing a different colored jersey. Now, I believe that adults ruin the world because kids, they don't have it in them. Like I've said before, if you put all little babies into a sandbox, they'll all play. They will just play and play until some adult comes along and fucks this up. And fucks it up bad and fucks it up forever. Now, some kids might be tougher, some kids might be less aggressive, but they won't, it won't be based on race. It'll be based on, okay, maybe you're bigger than me or you're stronger than me or whatever. So here I am coming up in this world where racism is just now part of my daily life as a black person. A light-skinned black person too, which is another realm, because people want to believe you might have white in you. It's like some other shit, like, it gets real complicated, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Obama's mom is white, but then he ain't white, but he's black sometimes, but he's white sometimes, and shit just gets bananas. Now, the government here, back in the United States, when they started making these rules, they came out with this one drop of blood shit, which has got to be the most racist thing I've ever heard of in my life, which means if my wife, Coco, who is white, and I have a baby, because that baby has one drop of black blood, it can no longer be white. The fuck is the matter with these people? I mean, who makes that rule? But that's right? That's some bullshit. My daughter is white and black. And and here's the cold thing is, the way the white people invented this rule, if white blood is mixed with any race, it's no longer white. What kind of shit is that? That's why Public Enemy had a record called Fear of a Black Planet. Not meaning a black planet, but just not absolutely white. I don't get it. I don't know where that comes from, but my daughter is just as much a white girl as a black girl. She's mixed. I mean, she has a white side of her family, Cocos Family. She's got, I even gave her a hood name. Her name is Chanel. I gave her a hood name, Shanae. That's her hood name. She's in the hood. But if your name is Alicia Keys, if your name is Drake, you're not white. You're black. What the fuck's the matter with this world? You know what I'm saying? If you're Mariah Carey, all these different people that they black. I'm like, no, they're not. They're mixed. And then anyone who uses the word mulatto, fuck that word. Mulatto is a fucking donkey. That's what that means. Look what it is. So you call, they're mixed, it's a donkey and a jack. Fuck that racist ass word too. People don't know, and a lot of people that think they're not racist are racist to other shit. So say for instance, I don't have any problem with black people. I'm cool, we get along, I'm cool. Look at that chink motherfucker. Like, you diss somebody. You see what I'm saying? If you can't just be okay with certain races. You're either not, or you are. Now I've learned this lesson. I judge a devil by his deeds. I watch you. Just because you may be the same color as me, don't put your arm around me talking about your brother, your sister. No, you got to treat me like a brother, or treat me like a sister. Somebody in here that has nothing to do with me, racially or culturally, might be my best friend I ever have in my life. It might save my life. Where somebody that looks just like me will put the knife in my back. So I don't look at anybody's color, race, or I don't care, gender, whatever. I'm gonna judge you by your deeds. I'm gonna watch you. If you out there and you got a friend who's always talking shit about people, they're talking shit about you. You know what I'm saying? They're talking shit about you. Like I got a friend that's like, yo, I'm gonna rob this motherfucker, I'm gonna rob. I'm like, so when will you rob me? Like, it's like, this is what you do, obviously. That's your get down, So, when any girls out there, you got a girlfriend that'll will fuck your another girl's boyfriend, she'll fuck your boyfriend. You understand what I'm saying? This is a behavior. So I watch your behavior. As a friend or a new friend, I'm watching you. Like Muhammad Ali said, the best judge of character is how someone might treat a waiter, or how someone will treat someone who can do absolutely nothing for them. So now we sit in this room all together, all these different races, genders and stuff, and they're trying to figure out how do we mend the the racial gap. Well, it starts with us. We have already mended it to an extent because you guys are even here sitting talking to me. So the fact that we have so many white people and different ethnicities sitting in here, that means you care about it. And you would like to mend the gender gap. Unless you're just sitting in here planning on trolling me and writing some bullshit, I don't know. Some people come in I'm just waiting on them to say some fuck up shit. Just one thing, that'll be the headline, and we'll destroy his life. Just forget anything I said good, just wait, he'll say something. I know it. I've always been so wild and so outrageous that it was hard to angle me, so it was never a way you could write anything bad about me that would bother any, because everybody said, well, that's Ice-T. I remember they used to ask me all the time, this is when I would write gangster rap, does your son, your kids listen to this? I'm like, when they're not doing drive-bys and selling crack, that's how you fuck with them. Just don't, just don't let them angle. They're trying to find something you don't. So now we're in a situation where you've got a group of people like yourselves that are really tired of the bullshit. They realize that we're not each other's enemies. It's more issues going on. There's class issues going on. There's lack of jobs, there's lack of problems. And anytime anybody is not surviving or not taking care of their family or can't feed their kids, they could potentially go back to animal instincts and become very savage. So when you look into heavy poverty-stricken areas, it's a little bit more aggressive, because I know what it's like to not have food to feed. When I had my daughter, I had my first daughter when I was in high school. I had no job. And I would leave out the house at night trying to figure out how to get money, and I had bad intentions. I would never do that now because the tables have turned, but I know that mentality, and I know what that is. Was I negative, or was I in survival mode? I think I was in survival mode. I wasn't really trying to get any more than what it was going to take to stay alive. That's why you got to be careful out here when you're dealing with people, because you never know what stage they're in their life. But once again, we have us, everybody here at the college. It starts with us, and it starts with how we raise our kids, and it starts when we start to debunk the racist BS that people push, the propaganda. Now, I don't know how many Trump supporters are in here, probably a couple, and I'm glad, but at the same time, I mean, dude pushes a very racist agenda, even if it's as simple as talking about immigration. Because, okay, we understand we got an immigration problem. We understand, okay, maybe there should be whatever the wall, I got that, dude, whatever the fuck. But the way you talk about the Mexican people and the way you talk about that country, that shit's racist. Why? Because you can't label an entire country as anything. Every human being over there is different. Everyone, so you can't say Mexicans. When you say Mexicans, when I say whites, I can't put all white people under any flag. Everyone's different. Black people, we're all different. Humans are different. No two people on earth have the exact same life or see the exact same things. You could be an identical twin and you could live the identical life of a brother or sister, and both of you will see two different worlds because every human has a different perspective. I could take you to the best restaurant and I think it's the best restaurant and you go, this shit sucks. I hate it, get me out of here. We've done it. We've had friends, we took places or did things and we thought it was just great. I remember I was with one of my buddies one day and I was a third wheel and he took me to see Cats. I'm still going through therapy. And they were having a great time. The girl, she was midnight in the canyon. I can still hear this song. And I think he was acting like he was having a good time because he was trying to handle it, close a deal. And I'm sitting there like, there's a big cat with a cup on a roof. What is this shit? This is the worst. So to think that any two of us see anything identically the same is ludicrous. Everybody has a little different slant because of their experiences. Now, I listen to racist people talk. I like listening, oh, well, you know, the Muslims, what do you mean the Muslims? Muslim is a religion, it's not a race. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, right? Like, the Muslims, all right, so, you know, and as far as religion goes, that's very divisive too. Because even in the Christian religion, they fight each other. Because they still all believe in Jesus, but I got Sprint to Jesus, no, you got AT&T to Jesus. You know what I'm saying? No, Roman Catholics, no, he lives with us, you know? Like, fuck. So let's fight, let's kill. Let's do the, you know, the Spanish Inquisition. Let's kill over this, over God. You dig? So either there's a multiple gods, like Native Americans believe, or there's one. And I got a feeling if there is a God, God is sitting back watching us be foolish. I think God is like, y'all all act, what the fuck, do I really want to save any of these motherfuckers? They're all, none of us are good. You know, now, there are righteous people. I've lived both sides. I was an orphan. My mother died when I was in the 3rd grade. My father died when I was in the 7th grade. I lived with my aunt, and I've been on my own ever since I was 16. A lot of people think that's bad. In a way, I think it was a blessing, because after I got over grieving for my parents, I haven't had to deal with relatives, and I've really seen more pain come through families than anything I've ever seen. Families can cause you more hardship and heartache. So I've been fortunate because I've been able to pick my family now. My friends are my family. And if you fuck up, you're out. Now, Coco and I are starting a new family, but, you know, all my kids, my son, my daughter, and now Chanel, racism is not tolerated in my nowhere around me. And when I met Coco, who lived in Arizona, you know, her background is Yugoslavian. But these were some of the most beautiful white people I had ever met in my life. Her family was just like so open and so cool. Now, if you met Coco's dad, you would swear to God you were getting jumped into the Hells Angels. Her dad is tatted, full tatted, bar mustache, rides a Harley, got muscles, and has so many guns. So I meet Pops, his name is Steve Austin, just to make matters worse. So me and him kicked it, and I talked to him for a while. I told him stuff that I'd done, you know. We were going one for one, like, you know, I was like, well, you know, I used to have lowriders. He goes, well, I got Harleys, you know what I'm saying? Then I was like, he goes, yeah, I used to do hot air balloons. I said, well, I was an airborne ranger. I used to jump out of planes. He said, and I go, I used to rob banks and shit like that. He goes, I used to ride bulls. So we was on some male shit. But at the end of the conversation, he looked at me, he says, I like you with my daughter because you can tell her no. And she's not the type of woman that needs a man that's always gonna say yeah, because she'll run over him. All her other boyfriends was poop butts. Now, poop butt is an old school slang, an old school way of saying bitch ass motherfuckers, right? Yeah, there was poop butts. So I said, well, Pops, I got her. I'll never let nothing happen to her. So me and Pops got a bond, but as far as white, black, and all that, it didn't really exist. It was man to man. And her mother is the most incredible mother in the world. She could actually live with us. I love her moms. Now then you got my side of the family.
Her mom had her birthday.
The Rolling 60 Crips. All my homeboys is gangbangers. They love Coco, definitely. You know, my boys gave me an award one day and they said, we love Coco because we know as long as Ice has Coco, he will never go back to jail. because he ain't gonna leave her on the streets alone. She said she's scared, she got me straight. And now I come home and play Xbox. I got a wonderful family, but in my world, race isn't an issue. And I don't see why it should be in America or anywhere else. I just think that as human beings, we all have our differences. And race ain't got nothing to do with it. There's messed up people and bad people. There's people who care, there's people who want to change. So I just don't get it. I just think that we need to stop making these separations and stuff. See, once they got into this politics shit, people started calling me a liberal. I didn't even know what a liberal was. I'm like, conservative, liberal, conservative. I don't know if I would be conservative. I thought that sounds stuffy to me, you know? Do they like rock? What the fuck? No. Conservative for that. I didn't know, but I didn't know if I was liberal neither. You know, I'm very serious about a lot of things. So I think these labels, they like to put, well, then such a word, then you're an independent. No, then you're, no, I'm not. I'm Ice motherfucking T. I'm me. I'm not this. You know, I don't know. You know, well, people say, well, Ice T, you know, you're not racist, but you hate the cops. I hate cops. You know what I'm saying? I hate bullies. I hate racist people that take advantage of people. I hate all that, but I don't hate the police. When I was a criminal, we never looked at the cops as the enemy. We looked at them as the opponent. See, there's different, let me take you into the crime. There's a difference between a punk and a real live criminal, right? A punk smokes weed, gets caught, and he gets mad at the cops for busting him. Dude, you knew it was illegal. You shouldn't have done it. The cops was doing his job. If marijuana was legal, he wouldn't be busting you. The man's not making that much money. Let the man live. He's just doing his job. He's a police officer. Now, if me and you decide to rob a bank, we know that's illegal. So why are we mad at the cops? They just gotta catch us. They are the opponent, not the enemy. If you're thinking that you running the police are the enemy, no, they're just, we gotta beat them. Watch the movie Heat. If you really want to get into the mentality of how the higher level criminals think, it's not, and actually if we were selling drugs, the cops create the margin. A little deep for y'all. Drugs are legal, they're not expensive, that's what I'm trying to say. Let me break that down. And I'm not here to promote drug dealing or robbing banks. I'm just trying to say that I've never been hateful toward cops. At some point in life, I might not have totally understood, and you know, but I've grown and I've learned, and I've been around a lot of different people. Now, trip off this. Here's some other moments in my life where racism was white. I'm coming from South Central LA, so I grew up in a black community. I went to a black high school, Crenshaw High School. There was one white person at that school. He was a teacher, Coach Scott, my gymnastics coach. I didn't know I did gymnastics. I'm a cock-strong motherfucker too. People like this gymnastics, gymnastics pound for pound, we was strong. I never did floor X, but I did pommel, horse side, horse high bar, and rings. So anyway, going to all black high school, I don't know. I'm in the hood. All I see is black people. I don't know how to feel about white people. Here's another moment. If you've never been around somebody, how can you expect to understand them? You gotta understand most of the differences between black and white and Hispanic and Indian or and whatever you may be, is cultural. It's not necessarily the color, it's just the way we do things in our cultures. You know what I'm saying? If I go to my Chinese friend's house or my Japanese friend's house and the motherfucker say, yo, we about to eat dinner, and he sits on the floor, I'm like, word? Y'all about to eat on the floor with your hands? Like, this is normal. I can't say it's stupid. Quincy Jones told me anything you don't understand, people call stupid. But they're actually stupid. An accordion is a stupid instrument unless you can play it. So because these different cultures do different things and they party different ways, we tend to say, well, it's not like us, so it's stupid. Borderline racist. You understand? Because it's not the race, but it's the way we live. So now I got a whole bunch of gangbangers from South Central Los Angeles. People are like, well, why were you gangbanging? Well, you know, we didn't have the lacrosse team to join, so what we had, all right? So I would take them on tour when I finally got going, and we would cross the country in a tour bus. This is the first time some of these guys had ever been out of their projects, and they saw land, and it messed their brain up. They were like, word, it's just so much space. And I'm like, yeah, you fighting over that block, homie. You fighting over that little corner. Look at all this there is to live, man. There's so much place. Guess what else we saw out there? We never saw before. Poor white people. In the city, you don't see poor white people. But when you get to the Midwest, those people are doing bad. You know, out there, we were in the Ozarks, we were all over. We like, what? This is different. So it starts to adjust your mind. Here's another thing. I go out on tour with Public Enemy, the most pro-black rap group in history. Who's in the audience? All white kids with African medallions on. I reevaluate what's really going on. And you start to learn this is not, you've been spoon-fed racism from wherever you are, and then you get out in the world and you realize, maybe I'm wrong, like, yo, you know? And you start to grow, and you start to expand, and you start to tell people, and you just gotta, see, America, the United States. Quick story about America. We love to say America, right? I was in Cali, Colombia, right? Colombia, talking on the radio, talking my shit, doing some Ice-T shit. And I'm like, in America, and the dude covered the mic. You're in America. This is us United States people. We're so arrogant. We are not. We are the States. If you go overseas, you're not America. You are the States. Don't get it fucked up. Look stupid like I did, all right? But anyway, I'm going all over the world. I'm seeing all this stuff, and I'm realizing also that racism happens everywhere else, not just here. In the United States, we've got a core racism, black and white people, because of some of the travesties that happened as America was being built. Now, KRS-One said you can never have justice on stolen land. America, this United States area we got, was really stolen, divided, and taken apart and built by some fucked up shit. Some foul stuff. None of y'all did it, but we know, and we can't deny that some super crimes went on here. You know, look at the Native Americans. You know, and then people still mad. Well, why did they got that casino? Shut the fuck up. The fuck up. We demolished damn near an entire civilization. And you mad because they making a few slot machines? Let them live, right? But this country has a lot of foul stuff, and that's what I'm saying. Nobody in this room, not even your parents, but there's some serious, heinous crimes that went on here. Not SVU heinous crime. Them too. Them too. A lot of black babies. But this country has to, you know, like you like SVU, and before you can even get yourself together in life, you have to admit what you've done. You gotta take ownership of it. And we're not ready, the United States is not ready to take ownership of what they could to get this place up and running at the expense of a lot of people. And now, okay, everything's good now. Let's create some laws and pretend like it never happened. You know? People ask me about guns. They say, Ice, how do you feel about guns? I'm like, I wouldn't want a gun if nobody else had one. But everybody got a gun. Everybody got one. There's how many millions of guns out there now? It's kind of late in the fourth to decide, maybe we need gun law. Shit, could have done that a long time ago. Now, I guess we're gonna, I don't know what to do. But, you know, I mean, if you read the Constitution, the gun rights is your last form of defense against tyranny, which actually means when the police become the enemy. So, I think the Constitution really needs to be entirely rewritten. I think that you can't, and I say that for a reason, because everything in it is out of date. It's like trying to run an iPhone 1 right now. It just don't work. Think about it. I mean, listen to the Constitution. And on the Constitution, it also says that you can own black people. All right, so all the people who signed the Constitution, Thomas Jefferson, all of them, they looked it over. Okay, right to bear arms, free speech, you can own black people. Okay, looks good to me, looks good to you. Let's sign. This shit's void, the whole thing. Oh, that was then. Well, that was okay then. A lot of shit was okay then, but it's not okay now. Do you agree? Yeah. A lot of stuff is okay then. I mean, right now, you got the Me Too movement. A lot of stuff that was okay then, guys are finding out, is not okay now. So things are changing, and we have to address that. But along with putting ourselves together, we just have to look at this madness going on around us, all this deception, you know, all these different things going on. And I really believe if you can keep us fighting each other, you can't watch the shell game. You can't watch what's really going on. It's so crazy. People always ask me, why should you get in politics? I'm like, I got out of crime, okay? I already told you that. Going straight, don't break the law, I'm just playing Xbox now. I'm not trying to. Will we ever all get along? No. No. Why? Because all of us are looking for happiness. And everyone's happiness infringes on someone else's happiness. Right? Like, I like my music loud. You live next door to me, but you got to get up in the morning. You're trying to be happy, I'm trying to be happy. Right? But we're infringing. Everybody wants to do their thing. Like, so we live in these little bubbles. So say, for instance, hypothetically, you play chess. So you got your chess friends you hang out with, and you guys got a lot in common with it. You like playing chess. But after playing chess, you want to smoke weed. Everybody in your chess bubble doesn't smoke weed. You got to go hang with your weed friends. Your weed friends are getting fucked up. They high, but after that, you want to read a book. Your weed friends read? Are you serious? People still do that? You go to your book club with your book friends, right? Then after that, all of us move, then you maybe, I like hip hop, you like Taylor Swift, some shit, you know what I'm saying? You got a problem. You gotta go that way, I'm gonna go this way. And we constantly do that. Even our spouse, we don't live in every bubble with them. I love the shit out of Coco. She'll do not like 80% of the things I do, and then she goes, yo baby, I'm about to go over here and do this. I'm like, word, okay, have a good time. I can't fuck with that. I'm gonna, you know, she's got a gay friend named Solji. Take Solji's ass. Solji will go. I can't go. So all of us aren't gonna get along. Add religion, add social issues, oh, God forbid you add the internet. Let's add, because the internet is just like, internet's like wild. The internet is, this is how I explain social media to people that don't truly understand it. If I took anybody in this room and I stood them up here and I said, everybody in here, tell me how you feel about them. Take a girl, somebody say, oh, she's hot. No, she's not. Yes, she is. I don't like her. I don't like her shoes. Look at her hair. Wow, she's gorgeous. I'd die for her. Oh, no, I wouldn't. Everybody is, but it's the World Wide Web. So basically, when you say something on the internet, you're asking for the world to comment. Not a good idea. Maybe ask your bubble to comment. The people you care about, but not the whole world. I was reading something about when I was coming here. I read some of the newspapers. Oh, Ice-T, we don't want him killing fucking, you know, like somebody didn't want me. They're not here, of course, but they're internet people talking stuff. I say, what's a safe distance to talk shit to somebody that you know will whoop your ass? The internet.
Dump park of the day. There you go.
So, I think
They get the dump park of the day, huh?
a topic like this is best shared with the audience
Sometimes.
because there's different ways I've seen things and different ways that I might have a solution, or I might say I just don't know. But I came here, and when I do these, I learn just as much as I try to teach, because, you know, one of my rap records, I said, I don't hate white people. That's a well-known fact, because all of my homies got killed by blacks. That's the truth. So why am I mad at anybody in this room? Y'all ain't did shit to me. You know, I've learned, Henry Rollins taught me when I was on tour with him in Lollapalooza. He said, Ice, it ain't about being mad at everything. It's about being really mad at the right shit. You know? It ain't about just being angry at groups. Find the I mean, remember when they were doing the March Against Wall Street, the Wall Street thing? I'm like, y'all wasting time, man. I would have militarized that shit. If I was down there, we would have picked the hedge fund dude that we thought ripped off the country and moved that whole thing to his front door. That would have got some things accomplished. But just sitting in the middle of Wall Street, picketing, staying in tents, rich people laughing at that shit. You gotta bring it to the person's doorstep if that's the problem. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to sound like a gangster, ain't I?
Sounding real.
That's how you gotta do it, though. I ain't mad at this school. I ain't mad at nobody in this school, but there's one motherfucker in this school, and I'm gonna find him. When I find him, I'm gonna deal with him. So you gotta play it like that. So it ain't black people. It ain't white people. It's certain people. And you gotta address them one-on-one. You know, if you black and you mad at white people, you missing the whole boat, man. Because, you know, like I said, there's white people that'll be your ally and will take your side and hold you down your whole life, while some of the people your same color will do you wrong. Don't judge a devil by his deeds. Watch people. If someone wants to be your friend, watch them. Figure it out. Usually there's an angle, and you take it from there. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so what I like to do now is open it, and we can build and we can talk about things, because I know you guys got a lot. I mean, ain't every day y'all get a real live motherfucking player from South Central LA. Really, you know? Ain't every day. y'all because this is how it happens. This is where it starts. It's just human beings trying to get along with each other, man. And I'm not your enemy, man. I'm not trying to hurt nobody in here. I don't hate nobody in here. You know, I mean, I'm sure there's some people I'll run across that I dislike. Not in this room, though, because y'all already showed me a step of love by coming here. But this some cats, you know, I probably
matter in one take.
Did I cut the vocal to No Lives Matter? No Lives Matter is a song I did with Body Count, last album, Bloodlust.
Awesome album.
If you haven't heard it, it's a song about racism, which is against racism, but it should be on your playlist since you're here. Did I cut it in one take? I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But what happens is when we make records, you do it in verses. So you don't go through the whole song. So you'll do the verse, you do the first verse until you got it, you know, and then you'll move to the next verse. You don't just sing the whole song. No.
Thank you. This one is
That's how it's done.
Joe Sampson. Joe Sampson. How has the current administration in Washington helped or hurt efforts to reduce racism in the United States?
I think it hurt racism. I think it's basically inflamed the sore. You know, I think that America's like a pendulum and it swings. So let's watch how it swung, all right? So you got Bush, who was the head of the CIA. I mean, the head of the CIA. You ever watch Mission Impossible? That's like the dudes with the masks that pull their face off. That's like top shelf cop in the world.
Pompeo, too, now.
Bush, and it swung over to Clinton, who was smoking weed, getting high, wilding out in the White House, right? Then it swung back over to son of a Bush, right?
Chuck D.
Right? Same as some of that Bush stuff, right? Then it swung
Song,
over back to
Republican.
Obama, right? Now Obama's over here playing basketball, rolling with Jay-Z, rock boy, you know, he's on, right? Now it swung over to Trump, right? So the only place left for it to swing is like Jesus or somebody. You know, like, I just don't think that the president should sound hateful. I think the president should sound strategic. Never angry. Never angry. Too cool for that. I got an army for that. I don't have to get angry. Composed. You know? That's that presidential shit. You gotta be smooth. You know? Dude ain't got that. He's tweeting it on the toilet like you don't got that. It's like the old Ice-T. The old Ice-T was, I'll kill you. You new Ice-T is like, nah, I'll kill you, right? So, no, I don't think this new administration has done anything to help racism whatsoever. I think they flamed the fire, fanned the fire. I wish it wasn't like that. I don't want the world to be like, I don't want our country to be known like that. So I wish that was different.
This is from Anissa L. What is a valuable lesson that you learned while in the military?
Yeah, I was in the Army
Feel right.
4 years, you know. I mean, my military life was tripped because I went in the military because I had my daughter. And I was trying to do something responsible, so I went to the enlistment office and I said, yo, I need to do something. They said, well, you're athletic, gymnast, you know, I was doing martial arts and all that. He said, you should go infantry, that's a $2,500 bonus. I'm like, word? Now it was about money, of course. I was like, word? $2,500. Okay, what is infantry? He's like, they got the soldiers, they run around. I can't pull, I can run. You know, back then, I could run. I mean, I think of some of my, and so then he says, okay, this was airborne. You get to jump out of planes and stuff. But I looked at the uniform and it had a red beret. And I'm from the Crip hood, I can't go home in no red beret, cuz. You know, because even when you're looking at it, you're thinking about coming home in the uniform. And so then they saw the black beret, the range you saw. Then they went to green beret, and they said, but that's 52 weeks of basic or AIT. I'm like, nah, that's a year before I get to my post. So I went a little bit under, and I AIT'd at Benning and Darby and all that stuff. And, you know, what I learned, have a plan and stick to the plan and be as organized as possible and think things all the way through and all the way out. You know, a lot of people say, it's not chess or checkers, it's chess. And they can't even play chess. So they just talking shit, like you don't even know how to play chess. What are you talking about? So, just think like this will cost, this will cost, this will cost this. Maybe I shouldn't do step one. Like think out. And just discipline. It's a good reference point to pain. I think everybody needs a reference point. People say, well, why are you so positive? Because I have a reference point to fucked up. If you have a reference point, if you've ever been through anything really bad, you can always reflect on that and not be depressed or not be pissed. When people are always walking around unhappy, I'm like, you must have never had it bad if this is making you sad. You dig? Like, I've had it bad. I slept in my car for a year. So you're not gonna get me down. You know, and in the military, I was in Chuchon, Korea, 32 below zero on RTAP for 30 days in the snow. People getting frostbite. So when people say it's chilly, I'm like, word? You ain't seen chilly! No, Army people go back. I was in Da Nang, Ho Chi Minh Trail, 69. But it challenged me to make this seem easy. So I have nothing but respect for people in the service. I think it's a great place to go to build character. I just don't necessarily agree with the reasons we go into conflicts. And you know, in the military, what they do is they teach you to kill. And what happens is religion doesn't work because we're not all the same religion. So they create this new religion, it's called patriotism. And for that, you kill. You kill people you've never met. You kill people, and they do a lot of mind fucking. Like the Marines, they get mind fucked more than the Army. Like the Army, we're taught to fight for our country. They're taught to die for their country. And you gotta be taught to die if you're gonna run up on a beach with nothing to hide behind. Yeah. Like, we used to look at the gyrenes, we'd be like, yo, dog, ain't even a bush on a motherfucking beach. You know, Army, we be creeping. Yo, I'm low key, you know. And like you always watch, you know, movies how military people be shooting like this. We be shooting like this. Catch a hot one downrange, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, God bless all the soldiers and people that may want to be soldiers and may want to go over there and fight for your country, but just remember that the people that may be sending you there, they're not going. They're not going, and they're not sending their kids. So it's kind of hard to really speak on it honestly. And I deal with a lot of veterans, and they kind of mirror where I'm coming from. A lot of cats that came from Vietnam, they come home, they can't get jobs, they got a real issue. So it's a weird situation, the military.
This one's from a Jenny, no last name, but Jenny. What made you take your role with Law and Order SVU, and how has it changed or reinforced the way you look at and your opinion of women's rights?
Okay, well, SVU came to me. I was, well, let's start it off with playing the police. First time I ever played the police was in New Jack City. And I was scared to death. that movie came out right when I dropped the original Gangster album. So I'm like, the hell are y'all trying to ask me to do? Like, what's going on? But at the end of the day, it was an opportunity. And I remember when I got the role to play New Jack City, I asked my boys, I'm like, word, man, they want me to be in a movie. They want me to play a police. They was like, word? Could I be in the movie? I'm like, that's y'all answer? I'm like, yeah, but I know you in the bowels of the devil, and yeah, we sending that to you, to the books and all that, but they want me to be in a movie, man. They want me to play police, man. Want me to be one time. How you feel about that? Word? If I was out, could I be in the movie? Yo, one thing y'all gotta know, white people, black people understand opportunities. Opportunities. I have had so many people come at me, oh, you're a cop, never a black person. Black people say, get that bag, my nigga, get that bag. They understand that this is an opportunity. And what happened was I was getting my hair done, getting my hair did. Y'all don't know, y'all young. I used to have a perm. My shit was more wavy than ships in the Navy, yeah? Shit, I had the Aquanet, you know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of body in there. The girls know what that is. When you pull them magnetics out, your hair be cracking. So, literally cracking. The curls crack. But the girl, Pearl, who worked on my hair, she said, Ice, if you don't take this job in this movie, you a realized sucker, because, you know, you guys around here doing all this dirt, and you complaining about not having an opportunity, and now you got an opportunity. If you don't take it, you a straight up sucker, and don't come back. And I was like, word. So I took the movie, New Jack City, and that led to more and more films, more and more films. So I'm over my house with Fab Five Freddy, who used to host MTV Raps. Yeah. You dig? I'm chopping it up, and Andre Harrell calls me up, calls Freddie. He says, I'm at Ice's house, and he goes, tell Ice I need you to be on him to be on New York Undercover. Remember that show? I'm like, nah, that's a ripoff of New Jack City. So black people hit you with this. Oh, you too big now? You won't do TV? I'm like, all right, give me a bad guy role and I'll do it. So I did Danny Up on that show. I was a bad guy. I was smacking kids. Anybody see that back when I did Danny Up? Smacking the shit out of kids. Like, how do you smack kids? I'm like, you just get low, like. It's in the script. You smack kids in real life, it's in the script. He was like, you beat Wesley Snipes' ass. I'm like, it's in the script. All right, so anyway, that led to Swift Justice with Dick Wolf. That led to Exiled with Dick Wolf. I had a show called Players with Dick Wolf. And this is my 5th show, SVU. So I get the call for SVU. I said no. Why? Go back to season 1 of SVU. It sucked balls. It was bad. It was bad. It wasn't in the top 40. Mariska's hair was all butch. Please stop me if I lie anytime tonight.
It wasn't great. It got better.
That's what makes people laugh, the truth, right? Am I right? So the movie it wasn't that hot. It wasn't top 40. It was just a show, and it wanted me to play another cop. At the time, I was trying to invent iTunes with a record label. Think I'm lying? Go to YouTube, put in Ice-T invents iTunes, and you'll see 10 years before iTunes come out, me sit in my house and explain exactly how all this was going to happen, but I didn't have the money to make it happen. And the cool thing is, the interview I did was with Apple. It was an Apple interview. Ooh, there's a lawsuit. But, wouldn't lie to you. Why would you lie to anybody at this point when anything can be fact-checked and everything can be video? I mean, you know, it's a waste of time, but Trump does it every day. Anyway, so tells me to do the show. I'm like, no. Then he says 4 episodes. And my boy, Janelle, one of my hardest gangbang buddies, he was like, yo, cuz, go, man. You know, you love New York, man. You know, go out there, take a break. We ain't making no money here yet. We ain't gonna rob you. Like, go. So I went out there for 4 episodes, and 4 episodes turned into 21 years. I came at the last episode of the first season. We just started the new season. Now, the question was, I wanna say something. I'm gonna parlay on this because lots of things I could talk about. Has it changed how I feel about women's rights? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not a woman. So how in the hell could I see things from a woman's side? How could I? That's one thing. You know, women, you don't know how we see it. I don't. So being on a show like that shows me so much from the female side, I see it. But I can't say I saw it before because I'm not a woman. So I try to stay out of women's debates, like things that have to deal with female. Yeah, that's women. You know, I have a wife. I mean, men and women are different. They see things different. We have different perspectives, so I'm aware of that. But has it affected me? Yeah, it affected me too. Like, one time I was in Miami, and we were at a pool, and there was a little baby, like a 2-year-old, naked. You know how people have their babies out naked, butt naked, like running around? And it's okay. But I was like, yo, but what if there's some weirdo? Now this would have never been in my head if I hadn't been, you see what I'm saying? So and I was like, it's okay, it's a child, but there could be some creep out here. What it did really let me know that there's a lot of bad people and real weird people out there. And that's another reason I don't have a problem playing it. People like, well, you still playing the police? And the cops is out here doing this, that, and the third. I'm like, yeah, but at the end of the day, I'm SVU. And I'm after rapists and pedophiles. And they don't even like them in prison. So, I don't have to fight with myself like, yo, you know, is this a hard role for me to play? Nah, you know, it's an easy role for me to play. But let me give y'all a life lesson with me saying no to SVU. Can I tell y'all a joke? And this joke will change your life. Ready? All right. It's a joke about a preacher. And the preacher was in a flood. And the flood was up to here. And a boat came by. And the people said, preacher, please get in the boat. Get in the boat. He said, no, women and children first. I'm going to take care of you. And the boat left. Another boat came in here. Water was here. He said, preacher, will you please get in this boat? He said, no. Make sure the city's safe. I'm going to go. You guys go. Water was up to here. Another boat came. They said, preacher, please get in this boat. He says, no, I'm going to make sure I'm doing the work of the Lord. Boat left. The preacher died. So the preacher gets to heaven. He sees an angel. He sees the angel. He says, is that God over there? He says, yes. Can I speak to God? He says, sure. So he walks up to God. He says, God. He says, I would just like to ask you a question. He said, yes, my son, because I love you. He says, I've never broken any laws, any of the 10 Commandments. He says, I love you. He says, I went to church 7 days a week, sometimes twice a day. He says, yes, and I love you. He said, well, God, if you love me so much, why'd you let me die? God said, let you die, dumb motherfucker. I sent you 3 boats. I put the dumb motherfucker in there with you. An explanation point to add to the intention of the sentence. The moral of that story is, in life, we always say why something didn't happen, but that boat comes and we just don't get in it. A lot of us right here sit and say, man, I remember I missed that boat, or I missed that relationship, or that person. It stops. And sometimes what I've learned now is to at least get in the boat long enough to realize it's a bad boat. You know, just take the meeting just to see what they got to say. It could be in the end, okay, got you. But don't just automatically prejudge the situation and turn it down unless you have a valid reason. If I had never got in that boat, I wouldn't be on Law & Order 21 seasons. I wouldn't, you know, it changed my life. So, you know, I'm a boat getting in brother right now. I check it out. Okay, next question.
Next question is, and this is no name, would it be possible for you to shoot an episode of SVU in Utica?
Y'all ain't been doing no raping up in here, have you? People always see me and they go, oh, detective such and such. I'm like, what, you been raping? Like, don't ask me. No, you don't want us. We got Hudson, I mean, it's like every week there's a girl in a duffel bag or something. Like, why would you go to Hudson University? Like, it's the most scandalous place. Everyone, the teachers are raping, the students, the girl, everybody there. It's wild. Now, I think that we have to create Hudson so we couldn't get sued, because it won't make Utica look good by any sense of imagination. Now, it won't look good. But I'll throw the word Utica in a hat. I'll go in there, you know, because a lot of times they'll say, well, she went through this place, and you might hear the name. I'll throw it in there, you know what I'm saying? Y'all. People always say, Ice, I want to be on the show. I'll be a dead body. And I'm like, you don't want to be a dead body. We will throw you in the East River with shit stuck up in you. You'll be so bad, it's not a good look on my show to be a dead body. You don't just die on my show. Shit happens to you. One day, me and Belzer came out back in the day, and we walked into Central Park, and there were 3 naked people laid out on the rocks, like there's these flat rocks, butt naked, laying on space blankets, face down. I'm like, people really want to get into business. Like, I'm like, really? And it was brick cold. Word, no, dead bodies, no. You want to speak, at least, or be a background where you get to live and, you know, you get to see your face, but not dead. Okay, next question.
What do you feel is the right age to start talking to your kids about racism?
I'd wait till their first experience. I'd wait till it happens, because I don't see any reason to contaminate them with it when they don't even know there's a race. I think that's a beautiful place to let them be. I think in the same sense, that's how they're negatively affected, hearing their parents rant about racism, racist shit in front of them, and they don't even know what's going on, and their parents pointing at people or saying, you know, these Muslims or these Arabs, and the kid doesn't know what it is, but they'll pick that up. I know my daughter is 3, and she picks up stuff we say. She repeats it. I'm like, where'd you hear that? You know. So they're sponges. But I remember when I got with Coco came from Albuquerque. She had lived in Albuquerque. Her best friend was a Mexican girl named Sayward, and she just hadn't been in a racially fueled environment where there was a lot of racism. Then she gets with me, and I felt like I was contaminating her, because I'm trying to explain to her some of the things that's going on. But then she witnessed it, being with me. So it's kind of like, you gotta be inside to see it. It's like, it's invisible unless it's happening to you. It's very strange how these things happen. Sexism. You asking a guy about sexism, it doesn't happen to him. It happens to you. So we may not see it because it's not happening to us. You understand? It's all how people see it. You have to bring it to our attention. And it may not be malicious. It's just, oh, I didn't know that part. I'm sorry. You know? And we got to do that. But I don't think they need to know too early. I think that when I look at my little daughter right now, she's in that beautiful age where they're just having fun. And, you know, she speaks British because she watched Peppa Pig. She's like, wait a second. You know, she thinks animals talk. You know, she's not contaminated yet at all. by anything. She's not, kids aren't even afraid of anything. It's like if you see a spider and you pet it, the kid will pet the spider. Kids don't know. They're open books, they're sponges. But I can tell you, kids emulate the tone and the attitude of the environment they're around. If you're a loud family, your kid is gonna be loud. If you yell and you and your husband fight, that's what that kid's gonna understand. If your house is mellow, the child's gonna be mellow. So people, you can read all your books. Dr. Phil just told you what's the problem with your kid. It's you.
And the final question.
No, we gotta do, let's do 3 more just for the hell of it.
Well, here's one.
Because I came way up here, it's not like, I got where I'm finna go to town and turn up, but
Knowing what
last three.
Knowing what you know now, what would current Ice-T tell 20-year-old Ice-T?
That's a good one.
Wear a condom. Always wear a condom. I don't know, they say God looks out for fools and children. And I think that I got away with a lot of stuff because I was stupid. I just got away with it. Like a kid can jump up on a ledge and walk and they'll never fall. But if we get up there, we'll fall because we know how dangerous it is. So a lot of things I got away with in my 20s, I don't know. A lot of people say, well, you feel any resentment, you feel remorse? I'm like, yeah, I quote Fargo. This will get you out of a lot of stuff. It seemed like the right thing to do at the time. I didn't have any more intelligence. If I knew what I knew now when I was 20, I'd be a beast. Lord have mercy. Oh my God, no one would have a chance. Oh, I could just think of myself, Lord. Ooh. But you know what? None of us can do that. You can't go back. And I always ask people, I'm like, when you're dealing with your adolescence, I'm like, what percentage, we got young people in here right now, what percentage of the stuff you thought when you were 18 was correct? You're gonna hear the adults say, nothing. Am I right? Nothing. So now, how do you get mad at the 18-year-old? They're you. So one of the keys to dealing with the youth is just understand yourself. Understand how crazy you were. Understand how misinformed you were. And no matter how much you yell at them and preach to them, they're not gonna understand because you didn't understand. The smart kids, though, the smart 18-year-olds, you'll find them hanging out with older cats. They'll migrate to older cats. When I was 18, I was hanging around with 40-year-old players. I used to go to the pool hall, and I would hang out with the older cats. They used to put me in the back of their Cadillacs, and I would listen to them. So I had an advantage, and they gave me a lot of game. But the only way you're going to get game is learn from experience. Smart people, dumb people learn from experience. Smart people learn from other people's experiences. Okay? So, listen. That's all I can say to the youngsters. Listen and pay attention. One of your OGs might be able to save you some problems. That's it. But my 20-year-old Ice-T was out of his mind.
This is from Lindsay Bonanza, I believe. She's a special education teacher in a state prison. The hardest part of her job is motivating her students, the inmates, to do the right thing when they go home, since there are no programs or services for these guys once they leave. What's your advice?
It's cold. You coming out of prison. I got one of my best friends. I'm doing a book with one of my friends. The book is called Split Decision. I have a friend named Spike, who me and him were in the streets together. A lot of the stories I told, he was my co-D. He was right next to me. Squares, co-D means co-defendant. he was, we got in trouble together, and he wanted to write with me. Right when I started, he sent some people on one last mission. Somebody got killed. So he did 26 years in prison. He had a life sentence. The entire time I became Ice-T. And now he got home a couple years ago. The book's called Split Decision. It's just showing one little decision can change the entire trajectory of your entire life. And there for you, it's even worse because now you're a convicted felon. And it's really, really hard. It's like being a veteran. You're coming back to nothing. Everybody needs a support group. They need somebody to help you, but then, you know, I don't know what to say. It's just, some things you can't, it's not just an easy thing. Hey, just go get a job, get this, get that. I mean, maybe if you can connect to somebody who's been through the same thing you've been through, they might give you a hand or give you a boat to get in. But they gotta know they don't want to be in prison. They gotta know that. And like when I deal with my buddies that are inmates and then they come home, I ask them, I go, are you done? And what I mean is, are you done testing the system? Because that's what you're really doing. Like I say, the opponent, you're gonna challenge him. I'm gonna beat him. Are you done? Because now, I mean, and I'm a straight up player. I mean, I try to break any law that they make, but I'm gonna tell you right now, with all this internet and all this stuff, it's a new game. I mean, and snitching has become absolutely legal nowadays. Tekashi just made it the most fashionable thing in the world to do. You get more likes if you tell. So all that code and the mafia went out of business. Everybody, I would say go straight as possible. You know, I never forget. I was sitting in front of an attorney one time, and we used to pay the attorneys in advance and the bail bondsmen in advance. This is gangster. Like we would pay I would leave like $50,000 with the bail bondsmen before we would leave town with aliases. I mean, this is when you're really in it. And the attorney was paid up front because we about to go do something, and I don't want to be in there overnight. You dig? Because I'm gonna give them an alias and I need to come out. I'm giving y'all too much game right now. But listen. The attorney told me, he says, us defense attorneys, we will never tell you to stop doing what you're doing. You know why? Because I'm gonna get that Rolex. All the money you guys are making, we're gonna end up with it. And guess what? We're gonna send our kids to spring break. We're not gonna tell our kids to do what you guys are doing. So it looks fun right now, but it's gonna catch up with you. And I'm gonna end up with everything you have. That was like, I'll never forget Shapiro. That was one of the coolest. I mean, he gave me the jewel that the best hustle is a legit hustle. And they're winning on you slick guys that think you're gonna get away with it. So, what was the question? What was the question? But I wanna make sure I wrap it up on that. No. That was, special ed. Why, what would I tell these people? I would just say you just gotta, #1, first thing know is you don't wanna go back to jail. And you gotta stop breaking the law, and you gotta stop the behavior that got you there, because they're not letting people go anymore. You got the prison industrial complex, they are basically warehousing people, and you are making people money, and they're not trying to let you come home. So don't break the law. Anybody in here, square up. Don't test the system. Game's over. Last question.
And Lindsay, if you're with a prison program, we do have a prison program here at the college, so if you come find me afterwards, I'll talk to you about it.
You have a prison program. This looks like where the prisons are. Have you ever been to prison? They're way up in the nowhere. Like, you can't get a visitor. They got like one motel. It's bad. They call it lose your girl, man. Way up in it. Send you so far in the boonies. Okay.
All right, last question.
Is this a prison? I got guards, everybody. I'm like, what? Are y'all inmates? Am I being punked?
What do you think has been the biggest influence on race or race relations within the past decade?
Go back 30 years, hip hop. You gotta remember, rock and roll tried it. Little Richard, Chuck Berry, white kids was dancing with black kids. Everybody was trying to rock and roll together. The sock hops, y'all saw the movies, everybody was trying to do it. Because kids aren't racist. They like the music. They rocking with it. Everybody's having a good time. But the powers that be did not want black and white kids and everybody to get together. So what they do, they have, who did all Little Richard's records? Pat Boone does Little Richard's records. You get Elvis to come in there, move his hips around. You call that rock, and we give us rhythm and blues, right? You know, forget Chuck Berry, you turn Jerry Lee Lewis and let him flip the tape. You get it all twisted. And then comes hip hop. Now hip hop is rock, just done over beats. People go, well, hip hop's not, no, it's rock. Right. We don't R&B the mic, we rock the house, we rock the mic. When you rock is anytime you go against the grain. If you want to do pop, you say, love your mother, do your homework. Right? Rock say, fuck homework, fuck school. We're not going to take it anymore, fuck it. That's rock, that's body count, that's rap, that's punk. That's what rock is based off. It's basically rocking the system. Whether you use pianos, whether you use guitars, whether you use hard beats. So, hip hop comes out, white kids like it. Oh, we've got a problem here. The white kids like NWA. Then all of a sudden, I did an album called Home Invasion, which meant we were going into the white kids' minds, exchanging urban anger to the white kids of the suburbs. So when their father sits down and says, all those niggers are fighting or they're rioting in South Central, his daughter, his little white daughter says, they're not niggers, Dad. And if you knew anything about what's going on there, you understand that the police brutality has been going on since the 60s. He's like, holy shit, but he doesn't realize she's got on a Public Tape Enemy t-shirt. And you know, when they came at hip hop, it wasn't so much the violence of it. The fear of it was white and black kids getting together. That was the fear. The fear was the little white girls taking down their new kids on the block poster and putting Eazy-E up over her princess bedroom set. That was the fear. So hip hop taught white people, black people don't hate them. We hate things. We don't hate you. We hate the same shit you hate. Well, maybe we're similar. Maybe we got the same problem. This is not okay for the system. They do not want us to be on the same channel. They want to split us racially. Obama, whether you love him or hate him, he was the first hip hop president. Because the voters of Obama were Ice-T fans when they were kids. And they grew up loving Ice and Snoop Dogg and everybody, and they had no problem voting for a black man. Black people, we only make up 15% of the population of the United States. So if every black person votes, ain't shit gonna change unless some white people basically rock with it. And America showed black people it's not as racist as we think. Because white people voted for Obama, pushed race to the side, and voted for who they thought was the right person. Now, that being said, like the pendulum swings, that made a whole bunch of other motherfuckers really mad. They was festering for 8 years. Want me to tell you why Trump made it to president? Black Lives Matter. And I'll tell you why. Because Black Lives Matter was turned and demonized, and it scared the shit out of those white people. It scared them. Oh, that's the Black Panthers. They're coming again. They're going to be lynching white people. You know, they turned it into that. But what did they do? They scared them to the voters booth. And then us black people who were in Black Lives Matter, we didn't vote because we didn't like Hillary really either, you know? So we stayed home, and that's what happened. So kind of like, if you scare somebody enough, they're gonna react. And that's how I see it. And trust me, just because I see it this way isn't necessarily how it happened. That's just my perception and how I see it went down. I sit back and I strategically try to figure out why things are going on, because I know I'm going to be talking to intelligent people like yourself, and I don't want to sound like a goddamn fool with some outrageous conspiracy theories. But in closing, this room proves, when Rodney King said, you know why? Because he just got his ass whooped and we wanted him to be mad. But I think we could get along because I think there's enough of us that don't want it and don't see it like that. There's enough of us in this room that are showing a chance, to try to make it. So if you're white, you got a different race friend, talk to him, ask him. Don't just assume because you side by side with him everything's good. Just get into it, learn. Because like I said, most of the problems are cultural. It's just the way we do things, a little bit different. And because it's different, doesn't make it stupid. It's just different. Women and men, it's not different. I mean, it's not stupid, it's different. Coco likes shoes. It's not stupid. I got little cars in my house, little toy cars. I'm a fucking grown-ass man. I got little toy cars, and you better not touch them shit. It's not stupid. It's just different. And when we stop calling things stupid, we're on the road to trying to understand and get this thing together. Even though we'll all not get along, the world, we may be able to create a nice, cool bubble of people that can have a good time, until the crazy motherfuckers is ended for all of us, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. But God bless you, thank you for having me. And lastly, I always say this, regardless of what I said tonight, this is just food for thought, So don't think everything I think, because then only one of us is thinking. Thank you.